Hello, this is Leisha Breen with Journey to Greatness, 365 days to your best year yet. And today I want to talk about refraining from saying no or saying yes only when your vision is served. Mahatma Gandhi once said, "A no fettered from the deepest conviction is better than a yes merely uttered to please, or worse, to avoid trouble." I'm going to repeat Gandhi's quote one more time. A no fettered from the deepest conviction is better than a yes merely uttered to please, or worse, to avoid trouble. Think about the word no for a minute. It's one of the shortest words in the dictionary or in the English language, and it is definitely one of the easiest to pronounce, and yet it is one of the most difficult words for so many of us to utter. If you look at a 2-year-old, a child, they go around saying no all the time. Yet when we grow into adulthood, we have a difficult time telling those that we love or that we care about the word no. We often end up saying yes because we want to please others, because we don't want to let those that we love down. Or on the darker side, we may fear that their disappointment will turn into some sort of anger and they'll lash out at us, and that this anger could be directed toward us in some way. But here's the catch. We often forget that when we say yes, sometimes, to others, we are actually saying no to ourselves, because there's only so much time that each one of us have in a day. And that's why I often talk about we have to be laser focused on what it is that we want to accomplish. When you are laser focused on your goals, on your objectives, when things come up that don't fit into that agenda, it's a lot easier to say no. To become happier, to become a more successful person, we have to focus on what it is that we want to accomplish. We have to put our energy on our own vision. And this means that you have to say no more often. We have to tell people, as well as the opportunities that may come up, no. And I know this is not easy. What it really comes down to is that we have to prioritize. We have to choose activities that we really want to be involved in, and we have to let some of these other activities go. And I'll tell you a quick story. This is a story from my life. Maybe, I hate to say it, but it's about 15 years ago now. I was working in Orange County and living in Palm Springs, and I was involved in a lot of activities as well. So I was managing a store in Orange County, and I was being paid very well, but I was literally traveling 5 days a week, 2 hours to work in the morning, and then 2 hours approximately back home at night. Sometimes it took me longer to get home at night. And I had also said yes to a lot of projects, and I was starting to feel really sick. I was feeling nauseous and headachy and upset. And one day at work, I felt really quite ill. And I decided that I needed to see a doctor, because I was actually looking for the doctor to say that I was doing too much. And I wanted the doctor to say that I needed to give up some of these projects and some of these activities, and maybe even quit my job so that I didn't have to travel the 4 hours a day to and from work. I was really being a bit of a coward, and the truth was that I didn't have a lot of clarity about what it was that I really did want in my life. I had let myself get pulled in a lot of different directions. I also was involved in a lot of projects that really weren't helping me get closer to my goals, but further away. So I had this fantasy that I was going to have the doctor write me a note saying, you can't keep going the way you're going. And I guess it took me a couple of days to realize the meaning of my fantasy scenario. that I had been playing in my head over and over and over again, that the doctor was going to get me out of these projects that I was involved in. I was at a point in my life where I was just unable to say no. But when I became aware of that, when I became aware of the fact that all the pressures and the driving, etc., was starting to make me sick, I needed to say no. I needed to get a clear picture of what I wanted out of my life and where I wanted to go and where I was headed. And that made it a lot easier for me to finally make some very definite decisions about where I was going to work. I did end up giving a 2-week notice shortly after this awakening. I also talked to some of the people that I was involved with in some of the projects I was in, and I said, I'm really sorry, I just can't keep doing this. This is actually affecting my health. Think about this for yourself. Are there projects or activities that you would be better off without? What can you say no to so that you can better streamline your life? I hope I've given you something to think about today. Being able to say no is one of those key elements that allows a person to reach for the stars and actually touch the stars, making their life successful. Reaching that pinnacle of success. We have to know where we're going. We have to know what we're doing. And we have to say no, not only to the projects that come our way and to things that are pulling us away from our dreams, but even those mindsets, parts of our mindset that are doing the same thing. We need to get rid of the distractions. And sometimes people will use distractions as excuses so that they don't have to face why they're really here, what their real purpose is. So again, I hope I've given you something to think about today. Be bold, be brave, learn to say no, and always be your authentic self. Until we meet again.